Hey, it's rwrushing with another unusual thing about my life. My wife at the time, a long time ago, we were hanging out on the border of India and Pakistan. And at that time, due to multiple illegal, stupid wars we were involved in, the Pakistanis had interesting feelings about Americans, white Americans with blue eyes, very strange feelings, and they still do. Although I hear Pakistan is actually a pretty cool place to go. But right at that moment, there was a hot war going on the other border, and we just thought it would not be a good idea to go hang out in Pakistan. But we wanted to anyway. Of course we did. My old ex-wife. So there we are. We're on the border of India and Pakistan, which is kind of like a big desert. A little sand, weird little hills, some rocks. That's it. No water, no crops, nothing to eat. And about 500 square mile area. That's why it's a good border between India and Pakistan. They can't kind of mess with each other. Nope. What they can do is shoot nuclear missiles at each other. That will not be fun. And pretty good chance they will do that. Anyway, so long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there's me and my ex hanging out in this weird desert. And we were like, why don't we just walk to Pakistan? What are they going to do? They're going to say, come on over. We'll eat some dal or some naan bread or something. They probably would do that. So we're hanging out on the border, and it's a bunch of sand and rocks. And we do have a driver. In India, gotta have a driver. Got to have a driver. You pretty much anywhere else in the world, you can't be driving like an American there. They all have their own rules around the world. In America, we too have our own weird rules about driving. So we'll see. I bet I could drive it. Yeah, I did. That's true. I forgot. Our driver in India was a man named Akshay. Akshay. He's about 22 years old. Akshay. Well, he sure could drive all over India in this weird little ambassador car. Pretty weird car. Anyway, we rocked the entire subcontinent of Africa in that weird ambassador car. We're in the back seat. Akshay can drive. He can drive very well. We're just having a good old time. So we go, well, why don't we just walk to Pakistan? So, fine. Akshay goes, okay. So we start walking from northern India into Pakistan in the desert. Well, out of nowhere, here comes these two cats leading camels. And they walk right up to us. They do not speak a word of English, but they're talking to old Akshay. And what you got to understand is in the Indian subcontinent, there's 1 billion people, and they do not all speak the same language. No, they don't. They speak about 300 or 400 different languages that you gotta kind of understand. The one language that the entire 1 billion people on the Indian subcontinent do speak, English. The only reason there's a country named India is because the British Empire taught everyone to speak English. That's why it's a pretty fun place to go, because you can just speak English and most people understand you just fine. And we're talking like, $10 a night for a hotel, $5 for an amazing home cooked meal, all kinds of cool stuff in India. Very cool place. That's why I named my daughter India. So there we are. We're kind of walking towards Pakistan. Here comes these two cats leading camels. They start running their mouth at old Akshay. Akshay kind of talks to them, and Akshay comes to us. He doesn't really speak English very well. Sure is a good driver. Akshay goes, do you camel? Do you camel? I go, do you want us to ride the camels? And he goes, yes. I go, you bet. Of course we want to ride camels. So somehow, me and my wife jump up on these dang camels, and these what they are is Bedouins. We call them a Bedouin. They live in the desert, and they have camels, and they kind of hang out. I know exactly where they make their money. How do you think you make your money? I know how they're making it, but sure. They just think, actually, they didn't charge us. They didn't charge us a penny. They just thought it was funny to see two Americans riding camels. Anyway, so there's this cat. And Akshay, he stays back at the car. So it's me, my wife, and these on two camels, I don't know, walking around in the desert. And so I start talking to the guy leading my camel. And I go, what's your camel's name? And he goes, Plit. I go, what is your camel's name? Plit. Camel. Name. Oh. Camel. Michael Jackson. South Austin. Part two of that story. Then finally we get off the camels and I don't know, get back in the car with old Akshay. We still had about 200 miles to drive somewhere else. It was a real straight road. 2-lane road, real straight. No traffic. There's nobody out there. 2-lane road, going 200 miles to wherever. And finally, Akshay's been driving us all over India for weeks and weeks. I go, Akshay, let me drive. He goes, no. I go, come on, Akshay. It's a straight road. There's nobody out here. Nobody cares. He goes, no. I go, I'll tell you what, Akshay. I pulled out 100 rupees, which is a rupee right now. I don't know. It's about $20. I bought that 100 rupee. I go, Akshay, I'll give you 100 rupees if you let me drive the car. He has to think about that. 100 rupees? That's going to feed his family for a month easily. More like a year. You bet. So he goes, okay, 100 rupees, you can drive. But I'm gonna be careful. I go, okay, Akshay. So he pulls over. He hops in the back seat. Me and my wife hop in the front seat. So there's a weird little white Ambassador car. Ambassador. Think like it's like a New York taxi, but it's white. It's called an Ambassador. That's a great car. I wish I had one now. Anyway, so I'm driving. My wife's sitting there just hanging out. And there's Akshay in the back seat just sweating because something goes wrong. He's going to get fired, and this is a very good job for him. So that's why he didn't want to let me drive. It's just a straight road in the desert. There's nothing out there. So I'm just kind of driving. And then what happened? Well, there's a little hill. Okay, we go over the little hill, come down. And then the next thing I know, there's about 500 camels, big old 500 camels all over the place. I kind of slowed to a stop. The dang camels thought, hey, it's a couple of Americans. Let's check them out. There were no people anywhere. It was just 500 weird camels surrounding the car, staring in the window like that. Like that. And Akshay goes, I go, Akshay, what am I supposed to do? He goes, drive. I go, what? I'm going to hit a camel. He goes, drive. So I start driving. We're like 1 mile an hour. Sure enough, the camels kind of get out of the way. Then I'm going 5 miles an hour. Camels kind of get out of the way. It just goes on and on. Then these damn camels are kind of like chasing us. I guess they just thought it was funny. And camels. Hey, man. Camels are a lot smarter than you think. They're a lot smarter than you think they are. So they're kind of chasing us. Well, camels can't really run that fast. Neither can gangsters. Anyway, that's old hip hop. So, anyway, finally I guess I'm going about 20 miles an hour. Now the camel, there's one camel left. He's keeping up with us. He's probably the young gun camel. He's like, boom, boom, starting us, boom, boom, boom. What the hell with you, camel? Man, we need to go someplace where there are camels. Camels are super cool. All kinds of cool stories about camel, like camel racing. Man, that's a fun thing to watch, a camel race. Wow, camels. Do you know why camel cigarettes are so cool? Because camels are cool. And so is Joe Camel. Bring back old Joe Camel. That was good. I'll bring it back. Joe Camel. What are they going to say? Blah, 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 blah. Nah, the hell with that. My name is rwrushing, and this has been yet another episode of rwrushing Overnight. Brought to you by Cool Aero Productions GmbH out of the Walloon section of Belgium. Sponsored by KLM Airlines, now featuring direct flights from Austin to Amsterdam. So go eat those brownies over there in Amsterdam and let me know how you feel. Ja bless.